Welcome to Hassle-Free RE, the show where we share tips, tricks, and stories from the short-term rental industry and business alike. Hosted by Dave Minapace and Will Van Wickler. They'll help you navigate the exciting and ever-evolving world of short-term rentals. Whether you're a seasoned host or just starting out, they've got something just for you. In each episode, they'll bring you insider insights, expert advice, and real-life stories from hosts and industry professionals who have been through it all. They'll cover everything from maximizing your rental income and profits to creating unforgettable guest experiences and handling unexpected day-to-day challenges with ease. Are you ready to discover the secrets to running a successful short-term rental business without the hassle? Then let's get started. This is Hassle-Free RE.
Hey everybody, Will Van Wickler back here, another week of Hassle-Free RE podcast. This week, Dave is on vacation with his family in Cape Cod at his short-term vacation rental. So good for Dave, Kim, the whole family. Love seeing them take some well-deserved time off. But keeping things on track here this week, we've got a really cool show. As everybody knows by now, hot tubs are the number one short-term rental amenity, period. Airbnb, VRBO, doesn't matter. That's what people want. So we thought it'd be pretty cool to bring on one of our trusted vendors, Jordan from Mainely Tubs. So we'll get right into it. Jordan, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for the invite, Will.
Yeah, my pleasure. So you and I, we talk a lot. We've got clients, customers. Dave on the management side has clients and customers going back and forth with you. And although some people might think this is like a boring topic, hot tubs are really important in what we do as short-term rental hosts, investors, and just vacation rental property owners. And, you know, what better topic to jump in on with an industry expert like yourself. So why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, for sure. My name is Jordan Harboldt. I work with Mainely Tubs, which is a company that it's employee owned. We deal with hot tubs, saunas, and swim spas. And we're all around New England. We have offices in Maine, New Hampshire, Eastern Mass, and Rhode Island. And one of our big, I don't want to say highlights, but we're an all-in company, meaning that it's sales, it's service, it's support. And a lot of our clients, including you guys, who, these Airbnbs, and it's not just been in the last couple of years, it's been maybe in the last 20 years. You got to set yourself apart if you're going to have one of those Airbnbs, if you want to go for maximum occupancy. And a lot of the clients I would work with would, kind of hesitate about getting a hot tub on site, or they would buy a really cheap one at one of the big box stores. And that's just, it's a mistake both ways. You want to get something that's meant for that property. You also want to get something from a reputable, dealer that can come and support you. And at least from my side of it, I used to spend a lot of times, I was the service technician out at those Airbnb homes. And I used to kind of like oversee and manage about 100 of them that had hot tubs. So, here we take a lot of time in making sure that we're going to get you the right model. And I know with a lot of the clients we've spoke with, I kind of give them a list of choices in terms of what I would get. You want something rugged. You want something that's going to be easy for the client to use and easy for those renters. So
I think the most important point that I just captured of what you said is standing out, right? And guests now are so savvy and they can tell in photos if it's a cheap, Costco tub or Wayfair, just those cheap kind of plasticky looking pieces of junk, or a really nice highlighted hot tub with great photography. Our main man photographer, Casey Rankins, does a really nice job of capturing the hot tub, capturing the view from it, making it an experience, because in New England and other markets around the country, the hot tub is like an anchor amenity. And if you don't have it or don't even really have a nice one or sauna or anything, you're really not going to get that far. And this is how you protect your investment. So what I also like is, the holistic approach that you guys offer. which is really different than how other companies, I think, deal with it. I've dealt with it firsthand. I remember I had an issue with my personal hot tub I own. The owner gave me his cell number, Mainely Tubs. And he says, we're going to take care of it. It was out of warranty and they made it right. So pretty cool stuff you guys have going over there. It's really cool that it's employee owned and just good people over there. So definitely can back Mainely Tubs. So knowing what you do, I kind of want to jump into like right off the bat, kind of things that people don't really understand purchasing a hot tub. So what are some of the common objections you're getting, people coming in the door and saying, wow, these might be more money, and all those kind of things?
Well, a lot of it comes down to the the cost, of course, but also not all property owners have done this before. And I deal with a lot of new Airbnb homeowners who it's either one side of the coin or the other. Either they come in and they want to get a hot tub that's got a ton of options and every little, bell and whistle imaginable, or they want to get something that is super, super base and super small. And what I give as advice is I say, people are coming to these Airbnbs for an experience. Maine and New Hampshire, you've got the mountains, you've got the ocean. I mean, it is literally, vacation land. And you want to make sure that those renters are getting that experience, because that's going to, come back through in your reviews, and it's going to show, how often you're booking out. And when I meet with people and I tell them, don't buy a crazy loaded, hot tub with options, because number one, the renters are going to have a hard time using it. Okay. You want this to be easy. And some of them have, a dozen buttons and all these different modes. And so I actually kind of end up talking people down a little bit into getting something kind of like mid-tier. And, those things tend to work because they are a workhorse design. There's a couple of models that we have, that are in between a 4 and a 6 person that we probably have, 500 or 1,000 of at these Airbnbs throughout New England, and they've just kind of proven themselves. It's a badge of honor if you can put a hot tub at a rental and it can make it, 10 years plus. That isn't something you're going to see with, the stuff off Amazon or the stuff from Costco or Home Depot. And, it's also not going to have that same level of support. And, when someone's adding that hot tub to their house, you've got to think about, is it going to last in the cold months? What's my electric bill going to be, right? If something does go wrong, who am I going to call? And, for us, we've taken a lot of time in trying to build up our service department and try to, educate and help our customers. That way, if in the event something does happen and your spa's down, okay, we can respond and come up there and service it. All of our models are, designed to go out in the cold weather months, and everything we have is going to be the most energy efficient you could get within that category. That's something else all by itself is the energy efficiency, where, during COVID, it was so busy. And you had so many people who were buying hot tubs to go, whether it was a ski house or a vacation house. And, the market actually was sold out in some sectors. So you had a lot of people go and buy these hot tubs from, again, Amazon, or they went and did Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever. Well, now they're realizing, hey, I'm paying a couple $100 a month in electric for this thing. And we're seeing these tubs now start to die off. So
just in 2-3 years.
Exactly. And somebody who wanted to save money, it might be a savings up front, but you're definitely going to pay it back, moving on. And a lot of those tubs that, were bought during COVID, now we're literally replacing them for customers. And, that's kind of sad that, somebody had to buy something just a few years ago and it's already died out. So, you definitely get what you pay for. And for us, our kind of mantra, we're not on any kind of commission here. Everything is all just about the customer. And it's really a consultation experience over a sales experience.
I like that. And I've seen it firsthand. You're like, whoa, 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 let's get something simpler. And I think that's a really great point. We've talked a lot about guest experience on this podcast, making it easy for guests. And yeah, having 50 million buttons, you really don't need that, right? But what you do need is high quality, easy to maintain, easy to service, and great guest experience. And I think of things as like total cost of ownership. And I think a lot of investors, they're always focused on the metric. It's called cash on cash return, Jordan, where how much money can I, or how quickly can I get repaid my initial investment? So if you spend 2,000 on a hot tub and you can book the house out, wow, I'm going to get repaid really quickly. But when you think about total cost of ownership, and if you only have the tub for 3 years, then you got to shut it down, get a new tub, deal with an angry guest. I'd rather buy once and kind of cry once. And the other cool thing that you guys have, which we'll get into, is financing options, which I think is really, really awesome, especially for investors that want to leverage their capital. But what I'm hearing you say is like the cheap tubs, maybe they'd be okay at your personal house if you used it, once a week or something. They're not going to last a super long time. There's not a lot of insulation in them. But these short-term rental tubs, when they're getting used year round, say 70% occupancy, 365 days a year, you need that workhorse. You need that work truck that will last you 10 years, right?
No, I agree. And it's one of those things that I completely understand, because you can, like any product, you can go online and you can look up and find a hot tub, for $2,000 or $3,000 or something like that. People don't really understand that not all hot tubs are built the same way, but also built to go to the same locations. One of the scarier things with us being up here in New England, it gets cold in the wintertime. There are a fair amount of hot tubs that every year we get a call on. Somebody had bought one at a trade show, or they had bought one on, online from Costco or Home Depot or something, and they go to put it outside, and then literally it will freeze and break in the winter, just because it didn't have that insulation in it. Now, if we would have taken that tub and thrown it at a Airbnb down in Florida or Texas, it'd be a different story. It doesn't need that insulation. So, for us, we've painstakingly looked in and qualified all the brands that we are willing to represent, just because it's got to meet certain standards for longevity. It's got to be serviceable. And that's our big thing. If we're going to be willing to put our name on it, and we're going to be willing to, put some of our partners who, are like referral clients, we have to have that quality. And when you mention, the things like the financing options, that has been a massive success. Just in so many people wanting to, you kind of preserve cash flow. They don't want to, spend right off the top. I know just right now, until the 29th, we're doing a 0% interest for 60 months. It's hard to, I don't know how you could find a better deal than that.
Right. So 0% interest, and it's a monthly payment. And then if you own a rental property, your guests are just going to pay for it. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, you can pay it off anytime you want. It's not like you're locked into those 60, month payments. If you want to pay on it for a couple of years and then just get it done, you can. You don't have that early payoff penalty. The other thing that we do, and especially around this time of the year, is there's kind of a sweet spot in terms of the ski home tubs and the Airbnb tubs. We do these special buy offerings where we will purchase them in large bulk amounts in order to try to cut costs for the consumers and offer those at a reduced rate. That is something that we will be doing kind of on and off, probably up through the end of September. And then our sauna season hits as well, which is something else that's kind of been, let's say in the last 5 years, a change. We're seeing so many, not just customers, but also property owners for Airbnb want to do sauna. You can't pick up a magazine, Men's Health, Women's Health, anything, and it's not talking about saunas. That has become kind of the forefront of the wellness movement. And, to have a gorgeous view of the mountains, from a hot tub, from a sauna, it's really giving people that kind of all-in experience. And, for us, we do the same thing on the saunas, quality, longevity. all the stuff that's bought from us, we come set it up for you, deliver it, assemble it, get it all going. And we've got a bunch of those like workhorse design saunas as well.
So let's jump into saunas then, because that's the new short-term rental amenity that Dave and I are seeing where, if you want to stand out, okay, well, at this point, everybody has a hot tub. And if you don't, what are you even doing? Saunas are kind of that new thing where they're so new in the market, people really don't understand the differences where, the average consumer could see, okay, if I buy a cheap hot tub, maybe it doesn't have the great insulation. Maybe it's not going to do great in New England if I'm using it 365 days a year. But a sauna is a sauna, right? And they all heat up. But you've kind of clued me in on a couple interesting points where, yes, you could buy a cheaper sauna, but X, Y, and Z could go wrong. So why don't you kind of explain to me like the value prop of getting one of your saunas versus one of the ones from China I can get for half the cost up front?
Sure. No. And it's something that I get asked all the time. Some of it is the whole purity conversation on it, where all the models that we have are either going to be from a Scandinavian manufacturer or from a Canadian one. And when you're putting yourself inside of a enclosed space and you're going to heat it up to 150, 160 degrees, you got to make sure that all of the materials that sauna was constructed with are pure. You got to make sure that the wood is solid cedar or hemlock or whatever. You don't want to have particle board, glue. That's the problem with a lot of these cheaper saunas is somebody finds one that's going to be inexpensive. You go sit in the thing and literally you're going to start to like inhale and smell that paint and smell those fumes. And I mean, there's a reason why, only certain brands have kind of made it to the top offering on saunas. It's the ones who are really into it for a wellness game. That's why somebody would want to have a sauna, right? It's a medical thing. It's a device that helps boost your immunity. It's a device that helps with skin health. It helps with circulatory health. You're going to be able to sweat and detox everything out. It's also a great way to spend an evening after a day on the slopes. It's great for stress management. And whatever you get, you got to make sure that it's designed and built for the right reasons. For us, we could carry any brand of sauna that we probably wanted, just because of the volumes that we do. But we are unwilling to carry products that we don't trust and that we know, are going to be safe for our customers. And, the average going price of a sauna, I'd say in today's market for like an outdoor one, you're probably going to be somewhere in that, $12,000 to $15,000 range. Sometimes we can get a little bit less, but that's really where it's at. And, for people to think, oh, well, I'll just go buy this thing on, Wayfair and it's going to be the same. It's definitely not. And you're going to notice that in experience. You're also going to notice it in the, the problematic natures. Funny enough, I actually sold a lady who works at Wayfair a sauna because, she told me like, hey, I was going to buy one of ours, but I see all the complaints. And that's not dogging Wayfair. It's, a lot of these large ticket stores, a lot of these big box stores, these online sites, their whole mantra is let's sell it volume, right? Let's sell it volume. Let's try to minimize costs, but they don't have any support. If something happens, who are you going to call? And we try to help everybody, but if you've got some sauna that I've never heard of that was made over in, somewhere in the Asian markets, and we don't have any specs and we have no way to, to diagnose stuff, then you basically have just a wooden structure at that point. It's going to have to be replaced. So I've seen a huge increase in terms of the Airbnb clients that I've seen all over New England have wanted to add saunas on. Most have wanted to do exterior, but there are interior saunas as well. And we carry both infrared and the Scandinavian style, which is going to be the rock and the steam. So regardless of what you've got going on, we probably have something that'll work in any case.
And in my opinion, you're really paying for service, right? So yes, you're paying for a great product. Yes, you have great customer service on the front end, but what you're paying for is being able to pick up the phone and get somebody in the US, in New England, that can help you out. I mean, I just sold a property the other day. I gave you the address. You looked it up. You're like, oh, yep, that's a 2017 Hot Springs saltwater hot tub. Bam, it's in our system, right? So if that person ever needed support, really anything, you've already got them locked in. And really, that's what you're paying for in the beginning, is that relationship that doesn't just go away the minute you purchase the tub. It's you have the parts, you have the equipment, you've got everything you need. Where I see a lot of these people in these Facebook groups that need emergency service on a sauna, and who's going to touch something where there's no support? You can't call that company off Wayfair, and they're just they're reselling it, pretty much. So really interesting point. And then you told me those infrared heaters, they can't keep up with the main winters. That's a big problem you're starting to see with the cheaper ones people are buying online, right?
Yeah, it's not just the infrared style, it's both.
Okay.
Again, when someone is producing a product, a lot of times the big box stuff, it's not being made specialized, to go anywhere. It's typically something that, I'll talk on infrared for a second. It's something that is kind of put together, trying to minimize cost. You're not going to be able to really have enough of a heat output. And on the traditional side, which is the rock and the steam, so many saunas I see are coming with these tiny little heaters. Nobody wants to go out for a sauna and start the heater up, and then it only gets up to 90, 100 degrees. I mean, that's a bummer. And for the rentals, there's nothing that's going to make a client, a guest, more bummed out than having this amazing amenity and then it doesn't work. So you got to have something that's truly going to deliver. We understand that typical heat ranges on saunas, on exterior ones, it's usually people who want to be in that kind of like 140 to 160 degree range, because that's where you're going to really sweat it all out. That's where you're going to get a lot of those benefits. And, to make mention of what you said, the relationship piece, in order for us to provide a good experience to our customers, we have to have a good relationship with the manufacturers, right? So it's all kind of a chain. And, for us, we're lucky the hot tub brands that we carry, the manufacturers guarantee they're going to make the parts for at least 20 years, right? So if you buy a hot tub, they're going to make the parts for your hot tub at least for 20 years. That is not the case across the board. Usually people who have a problem, you get, year 5, 6, 7, sometimes the parts are obsolete. What are you going to do? And the same thing with the saunas. We have to be able to get those parts in order to help you. And if we don't have a good A, relationship with that vendor, or B, the vendor isn't set up on a customer service focused service department, it's not going to work. So again, we painstakingly research all the vendors that we're willing to carry, and everything we do is really just for customer experience. Because it's one of those things. Most people don't buy a lot of hot tubs in their life, or a lot of saunas. And we want to make sure that you're getting the right one. It's going to give you the right feel and experience. If you've got a vacation property, we want to make sure that thing is always going to be working for your rentals. Nothing's more of a bummer than you get a call and the hot tub's broke. It's going to make for an angry renter, and it's just it's not going to be good for anyone.
And I'll say it actually does more harm than good, even just having a crappy sauna versus no sauna at all. I'd rather just not have one than have a really crummy one, because that's what makes guests upset. And that's what ruins guest experience, is showcasing an amenity that looks really great online and then going there and it doesn't meet their expectations. So in my opinion, unless you're going to do it the right way, don't even do it at all. So that's kind of the Mainely Tubs way, is like you guys can actually stand behind what you're doing. And to me, it's like I wouldn't even buy another product unless I was going to just buy the right one in the beginning. The last thing that you mentioned, you said hot tubs, you said saunas, and then swim spas. So a new thing in short-term rental that a lot of folks are starting to kind of get keen on is, small swimming pools. Maybe those are modular style pools, shipping containers, things like that. I personally think the swim spa is going to be the next kind of big thing, because my understanding is it's the best of both worlds. You got like a hot tub, and then you've got kind of a pool set up in the summer. So why don't we kind of briefly touch on that? And I don't know anything about them, so I'm ready to learn.
Sure. So and you hit it on the head. It is kind of an it's an adaptation of both. It's the best of both worlds. And, people who put in an actual in-ground pool, number one, it's so expensive. In-ground pools today, we don't do them, but I hear from a lot of my, clients, it's going to be a six-figure proposition, to do
start
an
at
in-ground pool.
5,000 minimum before landscape.
Yeah, and then the problem also is you've got a very short window of time you can use it. It's not an all-year thing. Plus, a pool is a permanent attachment to your property, meaning you're being taxed on it every year. The beauty of the swim spas is they're portable. Technically, they're portable. It's not something that is built into a property. It's something that you have a concrete slab or a patio, and the swim spa is brought and set up on it. They make them in a bunch of different styles. I mean, it goes everywhere from somebody who legit is, planning to be in the Olympics. We have the heavy duty swim trainer ones. We also have the more recreation series. Now, I personally would probably not put one of the heavy duty, Olympian version trainers at an Airbnb, just because you're unlikely to get that many renters who are looking for that sort of propulsion. My personal favorite is one that's actually showing up on that screen. It's going to be like either the X2000, which is a hot tub and a swim spa all in one, or they make one called an X500, which is a 15-foot long version. It offers, moderate swimming. It's got a bunch of lights. You can get sound systems in them. You've got jetted seats in the back. And on these swim spas, you end up starting right around 30,000, sometimes a little bit less, and, kind of goes up from there. But it's a year-round amenity. It's one of those things that you can have outside running. And you know what? If the renters want to go out and go for a swim in a snowstorm, they could do that.
What are the power requirements for a swim spa versus like a hot tub? A lot of the new construction houses we sell, they've got a 50 amp breaker, and putting you right on the spot. Maybe you don't know, but any more power requirements that people need to take into account?
No, I definitely know that. So hot tubs are usually right around the 50 amp. On the swim spas, depending on the one that you get, you're either going to be a 30 amp or a 60 amp. And it's going to depend on the size of the swim spa that you go with. If you go with one of the, the massive ones that's 20 feet long, has the, separate hot tub in the pool, you're going to need to have the 60. A lot of the ones that are just going to be the straight, 15 foot, and they're going to be more of a rec series, you can get away with just doing a 30 amp. But it's not going to be some, monstrous change or update on the electric. Years ago, a lot of the swim spas that were offered on the market had these crazy 90 amp services. And the industry's been able to, I don't want to say smarten up, but they've been able to build the systems a lot more, a lot more conducive to normal homes. Very few people want to take up half their panel for one device. So.
Which we're seeing with the pools. I've had a few clients do those. It's a separate 100 amp subsurface, then you got to put conduit out. And we're talking $5,000 electrical upgrade for new construction. So I personally think the swim spa, mine was blown when I heard you mention that to a client of mine. I'm like, this is the next thing for sure. Super cool.
It definitely is going to be something that would set that homeowner apart from the herd. It's not something that is offered at very many Airbnbs up here. I mean, even pools, I'm not seeing that many up here. But that's, if you got a place up in, Bethel, Newry, up in the White Mountains, and you've got some of these amenities, not only do you have that amazing view, a perfect location, but also those amenities, I don't see how you don't book out.
That's how I feel. So wrapping this up, somebody's in the market for a swim spa, hot tub, anything like that. Kind of what I'm hearing from you is play the long game. Make sure you get something that's going to last, good manufacturer. Make sure the person you're buying it from, hopefully it's you. They've got a great service department. You can build a relationship with them. They're going to take care of you. And then I'd say the third asterisk, and feel free to jump in, is ask them about financing options. I think that's a part that's missed by so many people, and you're not going to find with Home Depot or Wayfair, which is a value of its own purchasing from a local company like you. So those are kind of the three takeaways from me today. Any other tips and tricks from you on the acquisition end?
No, I mean, I would say just, if you're going to make the investment, be sure that whoever you're buying from is in it for the right reasons. If you come in and you meet with me or you meet with any of my colleagues around New England, our main focus is going to be to get you into the right product. None of us are on commission, so it's a very easy sales experience. We just want to set you up with the right thing.
I love it. Yeah, no commission. So you're like very low pressure. That's how Dave and I are. So we certainly appreciate that. So if somebody wants to purchase a hot tub, sauna, really anything, how can they reach you? Because you're everywhere.
Yeah, I'm all over the place. Probably the easiest way to reach me would be, calling me at the office. I also have a cell phone that I answer all the time. My cell is 207-608-5861. You can also go on to mainlytubs.com. You can reach out. We have a lot of buying guides. We have a lot of backyard planning tools. We even have some augmented reality apps that you can use to help kind of design your backyard. And I just look forward to helping everybody I can.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate you having you jumping on here today with us, and look forward to doing this again sometime soon. So appreciate everybody checking in this week. We'll be back next week, and thanks again. Catch you later.
All right. Thanks, Will.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Hassle-Free RE. We hope you found today's tips and stories as inspiring and useful as I did. Remember, success in the short-term rental industry is all about learning, adapting, and staying one step ahead. If you enjoyed the show, please take a moment to leave us a review or comment on your favorite platform. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more listeners like you. Plus, we'd love to hear your thoughts and any topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and follow us at Hassle-Free RE on social media for more tips and updates. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep it hassle-free.